Here, commissioner their video review. And today, as you can see, I'll be taking a look at the 1 to 100 scale, or is it 1 in 100th? I've never really understood how to pronounce that. Whatever. The 1 in 100th scale Master Grade Strike Freedom Gundam from Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny. Here you can see his size to a soda can. Pretty standard for what you can expect from a Master Grade. As far as colors go, it's basically what you would expect. A very dark blue, white, red, yellow, a lighter blue, a very light gray, and a whole lot of gold. Oh, if you guys hear some weird like chirping or squeaking in the background, I just got a cat a little while ago, so just try and ignore her. Anyway, view from above and from below. So basically what you would expect out of the Strike Freedom, because that's what it is. As far as posability goes, it is really good, but of course it's a Gundam model, so that's sort of expected. There is a ball joint in the actual head, so tilt side to side, go all the way around, back and forth, and then a hinge at the base of the neck, so allows the head to move back and forth with a little bit of a chicken dance. There is a joint in the body, allows the arms to move back and forth, as well as move up and down. Oh, you can also open the cockpit. It just slides forward, and there's a little statue figurine thing of Kira in there. Anyway, the shoulder armor can move it down, but it's very floppy, as you can see. Arms can move on a hinge. If the wings weren't in the way, it could conceivably go all the way around. Arms can go out to the side that far at the joint in the shoulder. Rotate just below the shoulder all the way around. There are two joints in the elbow that allow the arm to bend that far, so very nice. Come on. There is a ball joint in the arm that allows the hand to move all over, side to side, in and out, rotate, all that good stuff. Then a hinge in the hand itself, and then the thumb, index finger, and these three fingers are all on ball joints. The thumb can move freely, the index finger can move freely, and these three fingers are stuck together. As for the waist, maybe we should do the backpack first, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, for the backpack, there is a pivot, swivel, that's the word I'm looking for. A swivel in there allows the wings to move in and out. The wings together can move in and out that far, and then it can also move back and forth. Now the wings actually have a mechanism that when you move this section of the wing, the back section, up, hang on a second, this thing's sort of rocking all over the place. I need to move the camera up just a wee bit. Actually have some room to do what I need to. Anyway, there are some geared hinges and everything in here that when you move the back section of the wing up, it causes these two upper sections to move up. Now, that is a good mechanism in theory. In practice, it sucks. Due to the way it's designed, the gears and everything in both of the wings on mine have just gotten completely shredded, and they do still work, but they are a major pain in the ass to actually get to work properly. Now, basically how it works is you get just one set of wings folded out a little bit. Then you take the back wing, tilt it up, and it causes the upper sections of the wings to pivot outwards and just splay out a little bit. Now, in theory, as you can see, it does make them a bit wider. Now, in theory, that's a really good mechanism. It, allows for a bit of automorph. If we're mentioning Transformers stuff. In practice, it's a major pain in the neck. And I think it would have been better if they just stuck like the no grade does and just let you move these sections independently. But, well, it is what it is. Anyway, these sections can also extend outwards to just display things a little bit more, but that comes into play more once you actually have the Dragoons on, which I will show later. Now, initially, this geared system worked just fine. As time has gone on, however, it doesn't work so fine. In fact, it can sometimes actually cause problems with moving everything. Personally, I don't like it. Oh, I like to have the wings back like that. That's just me. Anyway, now on to the rest of the model. The waist is on a swivel, but it can't really move all the way around, but it can move side to side pretty far. And then there is a panel back here that, if you lift it up, allows the waist to hinge back and forth, give them a little bit more poseability, but if you want more stability, you can just pop that in and it doesn't move. The front skirts are individually articulated on ball joints, up and down, in and out, wiggle, all that. The side skirts can move up and down, back and forth, and everything else. The way these work, I'll show you when we get to the accessories, since that's technically what they are. And the back skirts are individually articulated on ball joints, in and out, all that good stuff. Now as for the legs can move forward that far, back that far, out to the side only about that far. You probably could get it to go further, but I'm worried about forcing this plastic. Anyway, it can also swivel just below the hip, and then it bends at the knee in two places, but it has a pretty interesting mechanism for doing so. When you bend the upper section of the knee, I said the upper section, as you can see, it causes panels on the hips to move and expose some armor. That's pretty neat. I always like it when stuff like that moves, all over the place. Now when you move the lower section of the knee, or the lower joint, and keep this in place, you get armor splitting there, which again is pretty neat. There's also a set of thrusters you can open in the backs of the legs. There are, come on, ignore those. Anyway, there's little tabs right here. Just pop those open. And then you have little thrusters. Now there are hinges or pivots inside the legs, allow the feet to move back and forth at the ankles, as well as tilt side to side at the ankles. And then the actual feet themselves are on ball joints, so you can get them tilting side to side, swivel, as well as back and forth, but it's much tighter than the upper joint, so it tends to move instead. Then the ankle armor is on a ball joint, so it can move all over the place, and then you can take the front of the foot and tilt it up for a little bit extra poseability. Can't move down though. Although I think with the way a lot of this model works, that's probably a good thing. Now for the accessories. Oh boy, strap in. This one's going to take a while. Now I'm going to start with the stands because there's a few things I want to get out of the way first. The first thing we have is this stand. And this is the stand that comes special with the full burst mode version of the kit. As you can see, the back, or the bottom, sort of looks like the splayed out wings of that guy. And you have the stand that goes up into this jointed piece. Unfortunately, this piece is no longer jointed, because if the camera will focus... Anyway, there's a bit of damage on there if you can't tell. There we go. Because during the first couple weeks or so that I had this guy, he kind of fell over and broke the stand. First it snapped here, and then after that, this piece just kept falling off, so I had to glue it on. Then this piece snapped, so I had to glue it on, and now it's just like that. Can't move, can't be changed, can't be taken off, nothing. It's just staying like that. Which is a bit unfortunate because, you know, this sort of works in with his other stand, but I'll get into that in a minute. As far as putting the stand on him, there is a slot down there. You just get this elongated tab into that slot, and it holds him just like this. And it holds him pretty securely. I mean, he's not going anywhere unless you pull on him. I mean, the bottom of the stand might come out, because, I mean, this thing doesn't attach securely at all. But it is what it is. Now the second stand actually has two sets of accessories. First, it is an Action Base 1, I believe it is. The larger Action Base designed for Master Grades and some of the older 1/100 scale models. And this is just something you can buy on its own, but this one is a translucent blue, which is special for this guy. And it comes with this adapter, which, you know, would allow you to take the stand bit from the other one and plug it onto here, but of course that's now permanently stuck on there, so it's not going anywhere. The second accessory, as you can quite clearly see, are, these long plastic wires that allow you to have the Dragoons looking like they're flying all over the place, with this flame bit to make it look like the thrusters are going off. I like that. That's a very neat little effect. Of course, getting them into any position but straight up requires hot water or a hair dryer and stuff I'm just not interested in doing. Anyway, these mount on there like that, and then you just tilt it up, pull it off, easy peasy. And here's a look at the Dragoon itself. Now they are numbered somewhere, I think, and they're fairly well detailed. There's even detailing inside there, not that you'll be able to see it. And of course, these can go from these stands onto the model itself. You just take it and then slide it onto this gold rail, and then it locks into place. And then all 8 of them store on there. I'm not going to waste your time with that, so I'll be right back. And now here we have him with all 8 of the Dragoons mounted, which admittedly looks better than just the bare metallic gold plastic. It also makes the effect of the wings spreading out a little more impressive. I can also show you the sliding gimmick I showed you before and show you what it actually is designed to do. If I can get this to move. It exposes some more of the metallic gold when you have the Dragoons on. But that's pretty neat. Let's just get this out of the way. Here, play with this. Alright, now on to the rest of the accessories. Where do we want to start? Let's start here. First thing we'll take a look at after all that are his beam sabers. Now, the way it's supposed to work is both beam sabers are supposed to have this black sticker, but just due to age, the sticker on this one's just come off. Happens. But they're fairly simple little white beam saber hilts. He does come with 2 translucent pink beams, which for some bizarre reason always look orange, or red or almost orange on my viewfinder. Getting the blades into the hilt is fairly simple. Post, port, plug it in. There you go, nice and easy. And of course, he can hold them just as easily. There are slots here on the sides. You can kinda make that out. And then there are tabs here in his hands. So just take the slot and put it over his hand. Can sometimes be a chore to line it up just right. But there you go, there it is in his hand. Unfortunately on my copy, I'm not sure if it's because of just the way the parts were molded or the gold paint or whatever, but it doesn't fit all that securely. I mean, if you close the fingers around it, it's not going to flop anywhere, but it's not the best connection like a lot of other Master Grade kits. Anyway, like with the rest of the Destiny kits, well, that happened. Anyway, as I was saying, before he decided to just dive off of my desk, like with the rest of the kits from this era, you can take the beam sabers, and there are these notches on the opposite ends of them, tab them together, and they actually lock together and give you a Darth Maul style double beam saber, and it's actually very tall. And you can use either tab or either slot to go into his hand. Just open up the hand, put the slot over the tab in his hand. It can sometimes be a bit of a pain to line up, especially when you have the double saber like that, but there you go. Very, very big weapon. Very impressive, too. Come on, let it go. Now, of course, the beam sabers, or at least the beam saber handles, can be stored on him. He does have these slots on his side skirts with these grooves with tabs. So you just take the slot, put it over that tab. Maybe. Come on. It's not the most secure connection in the world, but it will go in. Sits in just fine. Again, slot over tab, and there you go. Now, of course, this segues nicely into his other accessory, that being his railguns, these long gray bits. Now, these can be deployed by folding out these gray pieces, and that very simply shows these giant cannons he has on his hips. They're not quite as gigantic as the original Freedoms, but they're still pretty big. Not too much detail, but there doesn't really need to be for such big, hip guns. Of course, you can take the end and slide it forward to expose a little more detail and make them even bigger. No handles, though, which is mildly disappointing. After that, we have, I think, what is one of his more famous accessories after these, his beam shield, which is just a piece of clear plastic with a light blue spray on it. It looks very cool. I like the effect. It's very thin and beveled just a little bit. There's actually quite a lot of detail with all the ridges in there. Now, of course, these mount to these red pieces on either side, on either forearm. So you just take this, and it's on a double hinge. So you take a double hinge and angle it back like that, and just take this red piece off. Put you back there so you can't fall off. And the red piece just splits like that. There's actually a small amount of detail on the inside. There are little slots on these rivets, just a little bit of detail in there. Anyway, you just take this and sandwich these two pieces around that. Put them together like that. And there you have the beam shield ready to mount. You just take this post and plug it onto, or take this port and plug it onto that post right there. And there he is with the beam shield equipped. Very nice effect. I like the way that looks. Just go ahead and get that off. And of course, just fold that double hinge back down when you're done. Now his final accessory, or accessories, are his two beam rifles, which are mostly molded in this very dark blue plastic. Okay, you're throwing off the focus. Let's get you off to the side. Which are molded mostly in this dark blue plastic with some white, red, and a lighter blue plastic thrown in there, and then just some blue stickers along the side to just emulate that rail bit. I don't like how they're stickers instead of actual pieces. That's a bit disappointing. And of course, you can just take the grips and fold them down like that for him to hold. Now again, he doesn't hold these perfectly because, as with everything else, the tabs just seem a hair too small for all of the slots. But that being said, you just need to take the tab and line it up with the slot on the grip, which isn't the easiest thing in the world, but once you get it, it does tend to stay. And of course, you can just pop the other one. Of course, I now have them backwards, but whatever. Because generally you're supposed to have it with this folding bit on the inside, but whatever. It works. So just like the other hand, just put the tab into the slot. Maybe. No, your finger's in the way. Come on. And there he is with both rifles equipped, though in the wrong hands. But gives you the general idea. This is why you don't record reviews at 3 in the morning. Anyway, of course, the rifles have two other gimmicks, but the second, more impressive of the gimmicks is if you take this rifle, fold the butt down, get that grip up, and take the barrel and extend it forward. Then take the butt of this gun, pull it out like that, and then just stick this into the slot there, you now get some humongous super rifle, which is all kinds of fun. And of course he can still hold that. It's got the same tab there on the grip, and that tab or that slot just goes onto the tab in his hand. Come on. And there he is holding his super rifle. Of course, with some creative posing, you can, get this hand like that and just position everything for him to be, cupping his hand under it, which is part of what, that joint's for, but you don't need to do that. He holds it securely enough, surprisingly. Now there is one last feature that these rifles have, but they coincide with the rail cannons, and to do that, there is a small bit of transformation we have to do. Just get his fingers folded up. And so what you need to do is, starting back here, get the wings out of the way, take the back skirt and just slide it down Oop, that's not supposed to happen. Then just slide it down to that position, and you can take the rail cannons and pull them out to the sides like that. Push them back and then push them in to lock them in place. Turn it back like that. Push it forward to lock it in place. And now the rail cannons have become his back skirt. Yeah, there. Now they become his back skirt. And they have also exposed these ports. And what you do with those ports, so I can get his wings down so he doesn't just fall over completely. Come on. Stand for me, please. There we go. So what you do is, there are these posts on the sides of the guns. Just bring these posts down, and they will go into these ports. Just like that. Again, same thing on the other side. Bring down the post. Put it into that port. And now his beam rifles have become his side skirts. That's a pretty neat way of storing most of the accessories on him. I like the way that looks. It just sort of bulks him out a little bit more. Looks pretty good. And of course he now has a much longer back skirt, but it's mostly disguised by these huge wings. But overall, I like this kit. I mean, he's not the best. He's loose and he's floppy, and not all of the connections are great, but he just looks cool, and they tried a few different things with his wings that just didn't work. Anyway, that just about sums it up. So this has been my review of the 1/100 scale Master Grade Strike Freedom Gundam. So until next time, bye-bye.